दीवारों घर से उतरकर परछाइयाँ बोलती है, दीवारें घर से उतरकर परछाइयाँ बोलती है, कोई नहीं बोलता जब तन्हाइयाँ बोलती है, कोई नहीं बोलता जब तन्हाइयाँ बोलती है. This was my feeling on 10th May 2022 when an incident happened in our country, and maybe this might also be your feeling as well. What was the incident and how did it affect me? What happened that day is exactly what the video is all about. So let's begin. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, in whichever part of the world that you are, and welcome to Learnamytes, where learning is for all and all that we do is for learning. Please like and share this video in your network as much as you can, and please subscribe Learnamytes. Remember, I started this video with a share, and I said that something happened that affected me, and the date was 10th May 2022. So recently, in fact, less than a month. What was this incident? This incident was the passing away of one of the greatest musicians of this country, someone who ruled the Indian classical music world, or possibly the music world in India and even the globe, if I may say so. So it was the passing away of, as we know, of our beloved Santoor Maestro, late Padmabhushan Pandit Shivkumar Sharma. We dedicate this video to Panditji. What made him a maestro? What made people say that today the Santoor has become new forever? These were the kind of reactions which were there on social media overall in the country. So if I have to, I feel it is my privilege, I feel it is my honor that I can at least say a few lines, I can say a few things about Panditji, and I'm going to do that. So Panditji was born in Jammu, was born and brought up in Jammu and Kashmir, specifically in Jammu, and at the age of 1, on a given day, he rendition, or he said Sa. The Sa was so perfect that his father and his guru, late Pandit Shivkumarji Sharma, realized that a musician is born at his home, and he started training young Shivkumar Sharma at the age of 5. So at the age of 5, Pandit Shivkumar Sharma, Shivji, started learning vocals, and he also started learning tabla. There was a twist in his life. So Panditji, in number of interviews and number of articles which I read about him, which were published in various newspapers and magazines, he often used to say that his life is where there is a new twist every time, and that's what has changed the course of his life. So what happened was, his father introduced him to this instrument called Santoor. Santoor, originally, if we look at the word Santoor, Santoor is a Persian word, but the original word which is in Sanskrit, it's called Shatatantra Veena. Shatatantra Veena. Shata is 100, Tatu is strings, and Veena, of course. And the name Santoor is a Persian name. Now, when Panditji got this instrument for the first time from his father, he said that, like any obedient disciple, because his father was also his guru, so like any obedient disciple, he saw the instrument and he just didn't know how to go about it, and his father explained him, and he started using those two strikers, as they are called, and he started playing with those strikers. But in reality, he found that something needs to be done with this instrument. His father told him that, Shiv, I want this instrument to get the same status which is for other instruments in classical music, like Veena, like Sitar, like tabla, and I want you to work for it. This was the vision, which was it was a shared vision of Pandit Upadhye Sharma, which was passed on to Pandit Shivkumar Sharma. In 1955, Pandit Shivkumar Sharma, Shivji, a very young Shivji, played his first concert in Mumbai. After the concert, people were amazed to see the Riyaz, people were amazed to see the talent of this young musician. And around the same time, iconic producer director, late V. Shantaram, he offered Pandit Shivkumar Sharma a movie. In fact, Pandit Shivkumar Sharma, Shivji, also started playing for film music with Mr. V. Shantaram. And the name of the movie was Janak Janak Pailwal. When V. Shantaramji offered him a separate movie as a music director, as a music composer, Panditji refused it very politely, saying that I am yet to learn music and it will take some time. After the concert, quite a few people and quite a few legendary musicians from the classical music world, they told young Shivji that, you know what, you are a wonderful talent. You are a talent and you can be nurtured and you can be grown. But remember, this instrument of yours, this Santoor instrument, it will be very difficult to accommodate it or to create a separate space for it in the classical world. A disheartened Shivji returned back to Jammu, and the only thing which remained his passion after that was just making those changes in Santoor and giving Santoor that cult status, that respect, that acceptance in Indian classical music. There were a few structural changes which he was also required. They were required for renditioning and they were required for perfect adaiki, as Shivji says, as late Shivji used to say. And so he started doing all of that. And again, back in 1960, almost after somewhere in early 1960s to be precise, he decided to come back to Mumbai. His life in Mumbai was not that simple. Today we know Shivji as an icon, we know Shivji as a maestro, but at that time there was a situation in his life where he was living as a subtenant in Mumbai with a friend, and his friend had not paid the rent, and his luggage was thrown out, and along with him even Shivji's luggage was thrown out. So those were the kind of days that Shivji had seen, and he had suffered those days. But the only thing which was there in his mind was his vision, and of course his father's vision that yes, Santoor needs to be established. He kept on practicing and practicing and practicing and practicing, and he says that this practice made him realize that whenever he plays Santoor, he directly connects with the Almighty, he connects with God. That gave him that hope, that gave him that confidence. The turning point came in 1967 when, along with Pandit Bhushan Kabra and one of his long-term friends, one of his very close friends, in fact, what Shivji used to say was like his brother, Pandit Hariprasad Chaurasiaji, one of the greatest flautists in the world. All these three legends, so Pandit Bhushan Kabra on guitar, Pandit Shivkumar Sharma on Santoor, and of course Pandit Hariprasad Chaurasia on flute. They created this masterpiece called Call of the Wild. The album became an instant hit, and that is where people started noticing and people started realizing that yes, Santoor is a beautiful instrument, and yes, Santoor can be used and it has its own place as an instrument. And yes, then of course there were a number of concerts to follow, and that is where this as Shivji fondly used to say, this Jodi of Shiv Hari, it finally clicked. That's where this whole journey started. There were a number of concerts, and after that Shivji never looked back. So it was just his music, his pure music, that Pahadi music, that just he kept on playing and playing and playing and for years together. So there were those various concerts like Savai Gandharva in Pune, there were concerts across the globe. Meanwhile, Shivji played his first concert abroad in 1968, somewhere in 1968-69, and it also became a houseful. Slowly people started realizing and people started recognizing Pandit Shivkumar Sharma. And it was going on fine and everything was fine. Panditji was literally ruling the classical world along with his contemporaries and along with his wonderful seniors, as he always used to admire Bade Ghulam Ali Khan Sahab, he used to admire Pandit Ravi Shankarji, Pandit Nikhil Banerjee, Siddheshwari Devi and all these seniors. Now the turn came when somewhere in 1982, legendary producer director of Hindi movie industry, and that's Yash Chopra, late Yash Chopra, approached Shivji and Hariji that why don't you compose music, for a movie which is in making, and that movie is Silsila. And as Shivji said, that was another turn in his life. Shivji and Hariji, Shivkumar Sharma and Hari Prasad Chaurasia, this duo composed music for 8 films, and out of them 7 films the music was composed for Yash. I believe that all those who love Bollywood music, or all those who love music in general, I think we know the kind of songs which were in Chandni, which were in Lamhe, Silsila, and even in Dar, which was possibly their last collaboration with Mr. Yash Chopra. So iconic music. They again worked with legends like late Kishore Kumar Kishorda and late Bharat Ratna Lata Mangeshkar. The songs are to be cherished, to be remembered. Be it Jadoo Teri Nazar and number of other songs. And one thing which Shivji observes about Yash Chopra ji, and he was very fond of Yashji, and he used to say that Yashji used to wait for Shivji and Hariji to be free, to be available to compose music, because mostly from December till about late March and all that was the season when they used to play in concerts. So this was about his film journey, and of course he has done great work along with Hariji, which is to be remembered. I gave you a few names of these movies. Now I believe that Pandit Shivkumar Sharma has played with almost most of his contemporaries in that era, and you name a festival, you name a national festival, an international festival, and he has been a top-notch performer, as all of us know, for years together. For me, I believe that along with Hari Prasad Chaurasia, he had also formed a wonderful partnership with yet another legend, yet another icon, Padmabhushan, Ustad Zakir Hussain. Zakir Hussain and tabla, Shivkumar Sharma, Pandit Shivkumar Sharma and Santoor, and Hari Prasad Chaurasia and flute. So for me at least, I believe that this is like a Triveni Sangam. This was a Triveni Sangam. So it was pure music, it was pure magic. Zakirji, Ustad Zakir Hussain, when he paid tribute after the heavenly abode of Pandit Shivkumar Sharma, he says that he lost his mentor, he lost his philosopher, and he lost his elder brother. Together, they have performed close to about 300 to 350 concerts, or even more than that. And Zakirji says that what was so unique about this great artist was that he was a constant learner. He refused to call himself as a guru. And even after achieving almost everything in the world of classical music, he refused to call himself as guru. He said that, no, I am a student of music. And if you remember that we had recently released an episode, a wonderful rendezvous with Pandit Atulkumar Upadhye, the famous and renowned violinist, where he had told this interesting thing about, this great thing about Shivji, and a great learning, I would say, was that when Shivji was asked that how many times do you perform, or how much time do you think is required for Riyaz? So the humble answer, the honest answer, the beautiful answer given by Shivji was, how many times do you breathe a day? So if you do not count how many times do you breathe a day, then why do you count how many hours are required for it? So Zakirji says that he was not only a wonderful artist, not only a great artist, one of the greatest, as Zakirji says, or almost every artist, even the Prime Minister, Honorable Prime Minister, Honorable Chief Minister, and all the other people, they said the same thing about Panditji. One thing which Zakirji said was that he was someone who would correct Zakirji's mistakes by redirecting. And Zakirji said that he is one of the most gentleman artists that I have ever known in my life. So I think that was the persona, that was what Pandit Shivkumar Sharma was about. There's a question asked by an interviewer to Zakirji that now that Panditji is no more, what happens to the legacy of Santoor? Because Santoor became popular, and Santoor was established as an instrument, because of Pandit Shivkumar Sharma. I mean, the world knows about it. So Zakirji answered, and I think that answer is there. I think it's a real tribute to Santoor and to one of its greatest maestro, Pandit Shivkumar Sharma. The answer was, "आप ऐसे क्यों कहते हैं? आप आप ऐसे क्यों बोलते हैं कि अब संतूर म्यूट हो गए, या ये लेगेसी अब पता नहीं संतूर का आगे क्या होगा. So he said that there are these wonderful disciples of Pandit Shivkumar Sharma who are going to take this legacy ahead, and it's going to remain forever till the time music is there. So he recalled these two or three principal disciples and famous disciples of Pandit Shivkumar Sharma. Of course, one of them is his son, Shri Rahul Sharma ji, Padma Shri Rahul Sharma ji. Then, of course, Padma Shri Pandit Satish Vyas ji, and Pandit Daithankar ji, who's based out of Pune. And yes, of course, I got to know that, of course, one of his famous disciples, of course, is Shri Dilip Kale ji. So all these people are taking this legacy of Santoor and this beautiful instrument, which from the valley of Kashmir established itself in India and abroad, thanks to this great maestro, Pandit Shivkumarji. So once again, we pay our tribute. May his soul rest in peace, and let his music live forever. Request you to like and share this video in your network as much as you can. Please let us know any particular concert which you remember when you had seen Panditji playing. And I have seen a number of concerts and I was blessed. So please let us know in the comment box, and please subscribe Learnamytes. Thank you so much. We'll see you next week with yet another video. Till then, musically yours, Learnamytes.